Mankrdia is one of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups of India. We can also call them as primitive tribes inhabiting in the states of Jharkhand, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha states. The Mankardia are also known as Mankidi, Mankirdia. They are a nomadic tribal group. For the present documentation, the Mankrdia tribe, who are largely constituted in the Similipal hill and plain and fringe areas in Jashipur and Karanjia blocks of Mayurbhanj district of Odisha, are chosen. Mankrdia are also called as Mandakia because they trap and relish monkey meat. They are specialized in catching monkeys called Mankada in Odia language. Hence their name was derived from the name that neighboring tribes called them. Mankidia or semi-nomadic tribe live in the midst of the forest and considered as hunting and food gathering tribal communities, but some of them are in the rudimentary stage of agriculture. Prior to year 2013, the Birhors were inhabiting in the Similipal Reserve Forest. After establishment of the Tiger Reserve Forest, they have been rehabilitated in the peripheries of the Tiger Reserve Forest. Mankadia belongs to Mundari family. Like their neighbors, the Munda, Korwa and Santal, they belong linguistically to the Kolrain or Munda group, of which the Ho, Juang and a number of other tribes are also members, and which is related to the Mankar of southeastern part of the continent. Linguistically, they belong to Austro-Asiatic Mundari group. Mankadia settlement is known as Tanda. Always likes to live in the deep forest. You can see here, to reach the settlement, that is the Tandas, it takes long time and we have to go interior forests where they are inhabiting. Mankadia are racially proto-Australoid. They are of short stature, having a long head, wavy curly black hair, a broad nose and a deep dark brown color skin. Ethnologically, they are akin to the Santals, Mundas and the Hos. Both Birhor and Mankadia are specialized in catching monkeys. That is why they are called as Mankada in Odia. Hence, their name has derived from the name that neighboring tribes call them. People believe that their origin is from Chota Nagpur plateau. They might have migrated to different parts of Odisha and other states and finally settled in the hilly regions of the 4 states.
दो जाति नहीं है ये? नहीं है? नहीं। तो आपको बिरहोर भी कर सकते हैं, मंकड़िया भी कर सकते हैं? अच्छा। तो आपको बिरहोर कौन बोलता है आपको? कौन आदिवासी संताल लोग बुलाता है आपको? बिरहोर को? बिरहोर, यस यस यस। मंकड़िया कौन बुलाता है आपको? आप लोग मैंने जितना आपको मंकड़िया बुलाता है. So these people are called both the names Mankadiyas and also Birhors, they claim. But only the Adivasis they call them as Birhors because they used to live in the jungle. गांव का नाम क्या है? ये गांव ना कौन? किंदू मुंडी कॉलोनिया बायर कमी कनाल बैतल मकड़िया. The tribe is divided into 2 social groups. One is Jahigis, that is the settlers, and the other group is called as Utuls, that is a nomadic group. The Jews are found in the states of Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, whereas they lead a settled life. The present colony which we are observing here is established by the government when the Similipal forest was converted into Similipal Reserve Forest for the tigers. As though 2 decades passed, the houses never repaired or never looked into the problems and issues of these vulnerable people. The shift of this tribe from the midst of the forest to the peripheries of the forest change their way of life and also substance of the economy. Each tanda is having a mukhya, who is also officiates as a village head. His position is hereditary. The second person is called as Dehri, who is also acts as a priest for the village. And the third person is called as Dakuya. His duties are convene the meeting and collection of the fine.
This is a single teacher school up to primary level. You can see the conditions of the school. The teacher says no one is interested to come and see and help to develop the conditions of the school. The school board, you can see the conditions. There is no chalk paste, there is no slate, there is no plate or a book to write. There is no place for sitting, there is no table and chair. Some of the articles were stored inside the schools by the tribe. This is the conditions of the school in this Tanda. The conditions of the houses are also very pathetic. This is one of the best house chosen for the videography in this colony. You can see the conditions of the house inside. Only few vessels are available. This is the only asset for them. Cloths which are torn, purchased from the seconds from the Sunday markets, and you can see here inside the house, this is the total asset of the family, the cloths, the kitchen, you can see here, aluminum vessels, and there is no question of any storage of food grains or any other thing for the future. A kitchen garden exists.
The Mankrdia has no traditional dress. They use almost all varieties of dress which is locally available in the weekly shandy. Male persons wear lungi, dhoti, shirt and pant. Females wear cotton and synthetic sari, sometimes the blouse. And salwar, the young girls wear frocks. The children up to 2 to 3 years will remain uncovered. The tribe is having different clans such as Shinkwi, Hembur, Nagpuria, Machia and Sakiriya. In some regions, the tribe is divided into two different food groups called the bands. They move from place to place in search of food.
Clan is the most important kin group, which is called as Kili. It is an exogamous group, patrilineal totemic clans named generally after animals or plants. The origin of the name comes from an association of the animal or plant with the mythical clan ancestor at his birth. The clans have clan traditions of origin at particular hills and hold annual ceremonies and offerings to the spirits of these hills, in which use is made of emblems of the totem. The different families living in Tanda share joys and sorrow together. They do the reciprocal exchange of food, loan and service. They also invite each other on ceremonial occasions and worship. Mankadia family is patriarchal and patrilocal. Descent is through male line. Lineage is called as Kont, as well as units, Killi or Paris, is decided by a male ancestor.
The bachelor dormitory called Dingla, which was existed in the past, is not existing now. The leaf hutments are called Kumba. The economic and life and substance of the tribe is solely dependent on modified according to the resources available in the Similipal Reserve Forest region. The birth of a child is a great joy for the tribe. When a baby is born in their house, it is believed that one of their ancestors has taken rebirth. The delivery is conducted in the house, attended by an elderly woman of the village. They observe the pollution for a period of 7 days. The Dehru, who is the village priest, performs the purificatory ceremony. On the 21st day of the child birth, the Dehru again worships the clan gods such as Logo, Bir and Buddhi Mai by sacrificing a black cock. On the next day, name is given to the baby by an elderly woman of the village. A feast is also given to all the members of the village.
Monogamy is the usual practice. Polygyny also exists in rare cases. Payment of bride price exists among them. It is paid by both cash and kind. Divorce and widower remarriage is allowed. Among the different forms of marriage, marriage by negotiation, marriage by capture, marriage by love, marriage by service, and marrying a widow by an unmarried boy exists among them. Among them, the common practice is marriage by love. That means there is no need to pay bride price and give a feast to the villagers. Divorce is common among them. If a woman divorces, she has to pay back the bride price. Whereas if man initiates the divorce, he has to pay. Compensation should be paid to the divorced wife, and except the breastfeeding children, the grown-up children will be with the father.
The dead is buried. The death pollution is observed for a period of 10 days. On the 10th day, Dehru performs a purificatory ceremony in the village, and a feast is given to all the village members.
Still, the economy of Mankrdia is traditional and is mainly based on the forest. Forest plays a vital role in their life. Collect a number of fruits, roots, tubers, wood, vegetables, etc. from the forest. Ropes and articles made from the bark of the trees. They have specialized in making ropes from different types of bark of creeps and trees. They hunt by nets and also trap pig, rabbit, squirrel, rat, etc. After hunting, they sell these animals in the neighboring communities. For livelihood, traditionally depend on the nature, particularly more on the nearby forest. Hunting and trapping of animals and birds are done by them for food and medicines, and sometimes these are sold at the local huts. They also gather roots, shoots, leaves, fruits, and other forest produce for maintaining their livelihood. All the men and women and even capable children contribute towards this activity. If sometimes they fail to get their food from the forest, in this situation they have to live without food or in starvation for a few days.
This is the monkey skin. After the flesh they are eaten, they have made the skin. This skin they used to sell in the market. They will be getting a good price. This is one kind of livelihood for them. Two are there, two. Nikala to. Two monkey skins. We have two monkey skins in this. This is the owl. They catch the different kind of birds which are available in the forest, such as owl, jungle fowl, patriot, dove, pigeon, parrot, peacock. They also eat these birds. Apart from they are selling in the market. Here you can see the owl which they catch from the forest.
देखा बोले कोई समझते देखने ये दीदी मैंने ऑफिस वाला अपने समझते हैं
खाता है ना हाँ they will eat. So this is the bird they will eat. Important one for them. From the jungle, this is one of the item they will be
मांसा
eating.
खाए
उसका nose है.
Sal leaves. They are
Sal leaves.
preparing plates and they are
Plates.
selling.
This is sal leaf. They will prepare with this cups and plates for eating. It will be sold in the market. उसका leaf का नाम क्या है? ये खाली. हाँ? Sal leaf. Sal leaf. So they will collect it and sell it in the market. Market or कुछ. Malnourishment is quite common among them. Due to the restrictions in food gathering and hunting in the forest, they are forced to change their food habits to eat the rice. They are now solely dependent on the rice which is supplied by the public distribution system shops. The rice they are getting is not sufficient for their consumption. So, the children eat different type of nuts, fruits available in that region. Many of them adopted drinking rice beer to fill their belly. We can see here the rice beer which they have purchased it from the Savara women to fill their belly. Nutritional food. This is not only nutritional food which they are taking. It is called as chandi kadi. These are the staple food for the children, and they are eating the lo ko beko. Khab.
है ही क्या
खट्टी नहीं है छड़े की खाए बे.
So this is the food they will be eating, the children. That is why the children are very unhealthy. See, they are not at all healthy. See, so nutritionally they are very weak. Idhar. Yeah, that boy. So this boy is also you can see here. He is very weak, malnourished, and they are eating this seeds. You can see here, these seeds they are eating, and I think there is a need to protect this population to providing in good food. There is no ICDS, there is no any kind of nutrition food available for these people. So it is recommended that they have to be taken care of, otherwise they will extinct from the planet. So you also go. There is the well water they are drinking from here. There is no other resource water. This is the water resources from the well. You can see here inside the well. Filtering the water. So getting good water. He filters and takes the water for drinking purposes. This is the major problem which we are having.
वाटर से पीने का मध्य पानी से निकाल रहा है वही देख रहा हूँ फिल्टर अब पानी कहाँ से मिलेगा पानी हम झाड़ू अन्ना से पूरे में प्लेट पे
The tribe practice animism. They believe in magic, witchcraft. They worship sun god, moon, water, earth, fire, forest and other natural gods. They claim that their supreme deity is sun god and claim that they are originated from sun god. They worship Lagobir and Budimai gods as their supreme deities. The abode of these two gods are in the Similipal forest region. In each village, they have their own priest called derived, who officiates all the rituals in the village. An indigenous method adopted by the tribe to extract the oil. They take the oil seeds, first they will crush and they will put it into this basket, then they will squeeze it with the hand. The oil will start coming down from the wood where they have made a small narrow passage. Through that they will collect the oil. Still they are practicing this method. To sell their minor forest produce and to purchase the essential commodities, they depend on the weekly shandies which are organized near to their village. Here you can see different type of vegetables sold by the neighboring tribes such as Savaras, Buyans. They will come to the shandy to purchase not only the vegetables but also the different kind of commodities which are required for them. Here they are selling their minor forest products such as the living birds, skins, ropes, artifacts, some of the roots and tubers. After selling the market, they purchase the required commodities such as salt, tobacco, spices, calcium, oil, etc. Here you can see they also purchase the sweets and savories which are available in the weekly shandy.
This is the it's called Kara. What is the name of it?
Sir, Sukhua in Odia.
Sukua Korea.
Sir, Sukhua, dry
Sukua,
fish.
dry fish, is a popular one for the tribals here in this region. Weekly once they will purchase the Sukua.
The tribe is interested to purchase the powder, the bindi, and they are very much interested in purchasing the tobacco. You can see here the tobacco leaves which they will be using for making their own indigenous cigar. Here we have the calcium and also betel nuts which they will be using it for chewing.
Here we can see turmeric, dhania, powder, different type of spices. Rice. That one, Rosi. There are two types of this is rice bean. That is Rasi. These are the two types of beans available. Hadia. That is Rasi. So Hadia and Rasi, these are the two types which they are So this is one of the evening festivals which they will be enjoying.
The shandy is not only
The boys and girls.
a place for selling and purchasing the essential commodities, it is also a place for the young boys and girls to establish the contacts and develop relationships. Certain times these relationships ends with the marriage.
Nangga. Nagra. Tungga Nagra.
Tungga Nagra ini turun.
Tungga Nagra.
Ini
Kenang lekat.
The ITDA and the government of Odisha started residential schools for the girl children. Here you can see the one of the school established by the ITDA for the Khadia and Mankrdia tribe. Here it's very good school with hostel facilities are available. only for Mankrdia and Kadia people. This is one of the school where 250 students are studying here. You can see here educational complex. From first standard to 7th standard it is available. Here we have 18 teachers. Among them 14 are Mankadia and Kadia teachers. 10 teachers. 10 teachers are belonging to Kadia and 2 are Mankadia. So the same tribe people they are teaching. The infrastructure facilities available in the hostel and the school is very good, and the food they are getting is also very good food. Morning breakfast, noon lunch, and in the night dinner they are getting. You can see here the children taking their food with the curry and dal and rice. The children are satisfied with the conditions of living in the hostels. The problem starts once the children completes their 7th standard. Yes, I am completing 7th standard this year. I don't know what I have to do. There is no provision for me to go for higher studies. And I had to drop myself after 7th standard. And I had to go back my traditional way of life, working in the fields, food gathering and rope making and basket making. I need help to go for higher studies. I wanted to contribute my nation and to the people.
Pajage sananya tayam tayam te kuli mere aate mai chalam o kare laja mese lajui gala di sore ale hatu pagu mere mai aku kalangari bada saman alang jibane mai bada saman ale hatu pago mere mai aku kalangari ale hatu pago mere.
My parents' substance of economy is food gathering and hunting, and presently they are working as a daily wage laborers and depending on the forest resources which are available. Yes, I wanted to continue my studies. I don't want to go to my age-old profession. I wanted to become a teacher and contribute to the nation. This is my humble submission to all of you. I want to go for school. Since last 1 year, my parents and myself are trying to get admission, but there is no seat is available for us. So this is the pathetic condition which we are facing. I want to get admission into the school. The present study shows that the tribe is facing socio-economic and cultural problems in this region. The conditions of living is very bad, as though all the government welfare programs are working for this tribe. We are not able to see any change among them. Most of the houses they are living are in depleted conditions. These people, once they lived happily in the Similipal Reserve Forest region, after the establishment of the Similipal Tiger National Park, they have been shifted and rehabilitated in these villages. You can see the villages, how the living conditions are there. Even after 2 decades, they are not repaired or they have not provided any kind of accommodation. They are almost living on the streets. Every house there is a leakage and there is no doors, there is no windows in many of the houses. Proper rehabilitation was not done. None of them possess any land. The restrictions to enter into the forest, they lost their subsistence. Many of them became daily wage laborers and some old people became the beggars. Due to the operation of forest and wildlife conservation rules and regulations, the free movement of the nomads has been restricted. The shrinking of the forest resources and diminishing market demands for siali fiber ropes forced them to change their way of life. As a result, some of them given up their semi-nomadic way of life and accepted the settled life. The Mankrdia and Kadia Developmental Agency is working in this region since 1987. The programs which are introduced by the government is very slow. The micro project, namely Hilkadia and Mankadia developmental agencies, the developmental schemes such as Indira Awas Yojana, old age and widow pensions, self-help group schemes and other welfare measures, but they are not operating in a systematic way. The ITDA and the state government established educational complex for the girl children. There is no residential school for the boys. That is the greatest mistake the government and ITDA has done. There is an urgent need that on par with the girls' residential schools, there is a need for boys also, the residential schools. After 7th standard, there is no scope for the girls to go for high school and also for college education. This is one of the biggest drawback in the most of the tribal residential schools. Maternal mortality and infant mortality rate is very high among the tribe. This may be due to the neglect of healthcare practices. From the inception of pregnancy to its termination, no specific nutritional diet was consumed by women. The consumption of iron, calcium and vitamins during pregnancy is very poor. The habit of consuming handi, that is an alcoholic drink, during pregnancy was found to be common among the women. So there is a need to provide them the balanced food through Anganwadi or ICDS scheme. This primitive tribe is rehabilitated by the side of the Savara tribal settlements. We can see the impact of Savara culture among these primitive tribes. The Savaras are also restricting the movements of these people because the Birhors or the Mankadias has to pass through the lands of Savaras to the weekly markets and to other settlements. The influence of these Savaras are increasing day by day, not only on their way of life but also for their survival. This is one of the Savara dance which you are seeing here in that region. As it is a dominant tribe, they get attracted by all the tribes who are inhabiting in that region. The Mankrdia or the Birhor, no exception for this. Influence of Savara songs, dance, food habits and also the consumption of handia is increased to a great extent.
the Mankrdia, who are semi-nomadic tribe. Still, majority of them are depending on the forest and forest produce for their livelihood. Their primary source of living come from their nearby forest. Their style of life, their traditional economy is closely related to the surroundings they live and move about. Their skill in catching birds and animals, collecting honey, roots and tubers, fruits, and other forest products has in fact brought a shape of their traditional economy. The new forest rules and establishment of the national park, restrictions in collecting the minor forest produce from the forest brought several changes. Under PDS system brought several changes in the health status. The children and women are suffering with malnutrition and nutritional deficiency problems. The house constructed and provided to them in the peripheries of the forest are in dilapidated conditions. They were almost ruined. During rainy season, they are facing lot of problems to live in their houses. So there is an urgent need to repair these houses. Drinking water is another important problem in all the states. Previously, used to depend on the natural water resources like streams and ponds. Now they have to depend on the well and bore water facilities. During summer periods, these wells dries up and they find water scarcity problems. So it is requested to provide protected water. The ashram schools for girls, children are doing better services. In the same way, there is a need to start ashram schools for the boys also. It is requested that primary education should be strengthened at all village levels in all the states. The practice of child marriage is prevalent. At a standstill, the majority of the girls are given in marriage at the age of 11 and 14 years. As a result, sometimes they are married before their puberty. In many cases, due to their low age of marriage, they die during the time of childbirth or their babies die due to malnutrition.
This is one of the most vulnerable population in the Odisha state and neighboring states. So there is a need to conserve this population by providing them food, shelter and education, health care. All these are necessary. So these are the very important population who are living on the earth today. So it is necessary to conserve this population.